most notably Leonid Brezhnev. He later ousted Khrushchev and became the Soviet leader from 1964 to 1982. On the 26th of April, 1986, a reactor in the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, resulting in the Chernobyl disaster, the worst nuclear reactor accident in history. 120. At the time of the accident, 7 million people lived in the contaminated territories, including 2.2 million in Ukraine. 121. After the accident, the new city of Slavutich was built outside the exclusion zone to house and support the employees of the plant, which was decommissioned in 2000. A report prepared by the International Atomic Energy Agency and World Health Organization attributed 56 direct deaths to the accident and estimated that there may have been 4,000 extra cancer deaths. 122. Independence. On the 21st of January, 1990, over 300,000 Ukrainians, 123, organized a human chain for Ukrainian independence between Kyiv and Lviv, in memory of the 1919 unification of the Ukrainian People's Republic and the West Ukrainian National Republic. Citizens came out to the streets and highways, forming live chains by holding hands in support of unity. On the 16th of July, 1990, the new parliament adopted the Declaration of State Sovereignty of Ukraine. 124. This established the principles of the self-determination, democracy, independence, and the priority of Ukrainian law over Soviet law. A month earlier, a similar declaration was adopted by the Parliament of the Russian SFSR. This started a period of confrontation with the Central Soviet authorities. On to the 17th of October, 1990, the revolution on granite took place in Ukraine, the main purpose of the action being to prevent the signing of a new Union Treaty of the USSR. The demands of the students were satisfied by signing a resolution of the Verkhovna Rada, which guaranteed their implementation. 125. In August 1991, a faction among the communist leaders of the Soviet Union attempted a coup to remove Mikhail Gorbachev and to restore the Communist Party's power. After it failed, the Ukrainian parliament adopted the Act of Independence on the 24th of August 1991. 126. Ukrainian President Leonid Kravchuk and President of the Russian Federation Boris Yeltsin signed the Belaveja Accords, dissolving the Soviet Union, on the 8th of December 1991. A referendum and the first presidential elections took place on the 1st of December, 1991. More than 92%, 127, of the electorate expressed their support for the Act of Independence, and they elected the chairman of the parliament, Leonid Kravchuk, as first president of Ukraine. At the meeting in Brest, Belarus on the 8th of December, followed by the Alma-Ata meeting on 21 December, the leaders of Belarus, Russia and Ukraine formally dissolved the Soviet Union and formed the Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS. 128. On the 26th of December, 1991, the Council of Republics of the USSR Supreme Council adopted the declaration in regards to creation of the Commonwealth of Independent States, which de jure dissolved the Soviet Union, and the Soviet flag was lowered over the Kremlin. 129. The Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine did not ratify the accession, so Ukraine has never been a member of the CIS. 130. Ukraine was initially viewed as having favorable economic conditions in comparison to the other regions of the Soviet Union. 131. However, the country experienced deeper economic slowdown than some of the other former Soviet republics. During the recession, between 1991 and 1999, Ukraine lost 60% of its GDP, 132, 133, and suffered 5-digit inflation rates. 134. Dissatisfied with the economic conditions, as well as the amounts of crime and corruption in Ukraine, Ukrainians protested and organized strikes. 135. The Ukrainian economy stabilized by the end of the 1990s. A new currency, the hryvnia, was introduced in 1996. After 2000, the country enjoyed steady real economic growth averaging about 7% annually. 136. 137. A new constitution of Ukraine, under the second President Leonid Kuchma in 1996, turned Ukraine into a semi-presidential republic and established a stable political system. Kuchma was, however, criticized by opponents for corruption, electoral fraud, discouraging free speech and concentrating too much power in his office. 138. Ukraine also pursued full nuclear disarmament, giving up the third largest nuclear weapons stockpile in the world and dismantling or removing all strategic bombers on its territory in exchange for various assurances. Main article, Nuclear Weapons and Ukraine. 139. Orange Revolution. Protesters at Independence Square on the first day of the Orange Revolution in 2004, Viktor Yanukovych, then Prime Minister, was declared the winner of the presidential elections, which the Supreme Court of Ukraine later ruled had been largely rigged. 140. The results caused a public outcry in support of the opposition candidate, Viktor Yushchenko, who challenged the outcome. During the tumultuous months of the revolution, candidate Yushchenko suddenly became gravely ill, and was soon found by multiple independent physician groups to have been poisoned by TCDD dioxin. 141. 142. Yushchenko strongly suspected Russian involvement in his poisoning. 143. All of this eventually resulted in the peaceful Orange Revolution, which brought Yushchenko and Yulia Tymoshenko to power, while casting Yanukovych in opposition. 144. Yanukovych returned to power in 2006 as Prime Minister in the Alliance of National Unity. 145. Until snap elections in September 2007 made Tymoshenko Prime Minister again. 146. Amid the 2008-09 Ukrainian financial crisis, the Ukrainian economy shrank by 15%. 147. Disputes with Russia briefly stopped all gas supplies to Ukraine in 2006 and again in 2009, leading to gas shortages in other countries. 148. 149. Yanukovych was elected president in 2010 with 48% of the vote. 150. Euromaidan and the Revolution of Dignity. Pro-EU demonstration in Kyiv, 27 November 2013. During the Euromaidan protests, the Euromaidan, Ukrainian, literally Euroskoriya, protests started in November 2013 after the President Viktor Yanukovych began moving away from an association agreement that had been in the works with the European Union and instead chose to establish closer ties with the Russian Federation. 151. 152. 153. Some Ukrainians took to the streets to show their support for closer ties with Europe. 154. Meanwhile, in the predominantly Russian-speaking East, a large portion of the population opposed the Euromaidan protests, instead supporting the Yanukovych government. 155. Over time, Euromaidan came to describe a wave of demonstrations and civil unrest in Ukraine. 156. The scope of which evolved to include calls for the resignation of President Yanukovych and his government. 157. Violence escalated after the 16th of January 2014 when the government accepted new anti-protest laws. Violent anti-government demonstrators occupied buildings in the center of Kyiv, including the Justice Ministry building, and riots from 18 to 20 February left 98 dead, with approximately 15,000 injured and 100 missing. 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163. On the 21st of February, President Yanukovych signed a compromise deal with opposition leaders that promised constitutional changes to restore certain powers to parliament and called for early elections to be held by December. 164. However, members of Parliament voted on the 22nd of February to remove the president and set an election for the 25th of May to select his replacement, a move described by Russia and US academic John Mearsheimer as a coup. 165, 166, 167, 168. The ousting, 169, of Yanukovych prompted Vladimir Putin to begin preparations to annex Crimea on the 23rd of February 2014. 170, 171. Petro Poroshenko, running on a pro-European Union platform, won with over 50% of the vote, therefore not requiring a runoff election. 172, 173, 174. Upon his election, Poroshenko announced that his immediate priorities would be to take action on the civil unrest in eastern Ukraine and mend ties with the Russian Federation. 172, 173, 174. In October 2014 parliament elections, the party Petro Poroshenko bloc won 132 of the 423 contested seats. 175, 2014 Russian armed interventions and invasion. Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014, is shown in pink. Pink in the Donbas area represents areas held by the DPR/LPR separatists in September 2014, cities in red. Using the Russian naval base at Sevastopol as cover, Putin directed Russian troops and intelligence agents to disarm Ukrainian forces and take control of Crimea. 176, 177, 178, 179. After the troops entered Crimea, 180. A controversial referendum was held on the 16th of March, 2014, and the official result was that 97% wished to join with Russia. 181. On the 18th of March, 2014, Russia and the self-proclaimed Republic of Crimea signed a treaty of accession of the Republic of Crimea and Sevastopol in the Russian Federation. The UN General Assembly immediately responded by passing Resolution 68/262 declaring that the referendum was invalid and supporting the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Only Russia voted, were blocked by Russian.
Yes, now I'm sleepy again, then I'm click my mouse to do that. When I'm sleepy, I have always my finger there, I'm clicking there. So we have to read top of the page again. I'm sorry for that. But this will take a long time, and if my computer crash, we have to start read there again. The Ukrainian economic. And I'm uploading some videos, many Dennis, and I did buy some candy. Actually, I was going to save this candy for the weekend, but let's make a small ball of candy. Yes, I have a small pension from the Danish state. I have that 20 years. So I have a kind of low, but comparing Denmark is a very expensive country with high living costs. So I have a low income compared with Danish payments. And I have this $1,100 tip in order to buy some candy there. Let's eat some candy. Let's eat some candy, then we'll continue reading. Yes, sorry, my video is like that, but because my life is it's because my life is like this. I don't have money to replace my computer. I think there's a lot of dust here. A lot of dust. It's burning hot. Yes, we have to look if we have some Danish videos ready. No, they're not ready. I have some Danish video, but one of the videos is still uploading. So I will eat this candy and start to eat again. Yes, that's because I'm sleepy and I click the mouse. When I click the mouse by mistake, then it stops reading. I can do like this.
Tom.
If I click like this when it's reading. Yes, if I do this, read loud. Read this page.
Ukrainian economy stabilized by the end
Then
of
if
the
I'm sleepy and I click.
A new currency, later ruled had been largely rigged.
Then it stopped reading. And if that's happened down the page, I have to start again, yes. But I have hold my summer to do this, because I will be low on money the whole summer. Now I got this 5,000 gigabyte external hard drive, so I can just do this my whole summer. Yes, let's try again, and I will try not to click the mouse.
The Ukrainian economy stabilized by the end of the 1990s. A new currency, the hryvnia, was introduced in 1996. After 2000, the country enjoyed steady real economic growth averaging about 7% annually. 137, a new constitution of Ukraine, under the second President Leonid Kuchma in 1996, turned Ukraine into a semi-presidential republic and established a stable political system. Kuchma was, however, criticized by opponents for corruption, electoral fraud, discouraging free speech and concentrating too much power in his office. 138. Ukraine also pursued full nuclear disarmament, giving up the third largest nuclear weapons stockpile in the world and dismantling or removing all strategic bombers on its territory in exchange for various assurances. Main article, Nuclear Weapons and Ukraine. 139. Orange Revolution. Protesters at Independence Square on the first day of the Orange Revolution in 2004, Viktor Yanukovych, then Prime Minister, was declared the winner of the presidential elections, which the Supreme Court of Ukraine later ruled had